When people found out she was 61 and he was 23, no one asked if she was happy. They asked what was wrong with him. She hadn't expected anything extraordinary from life anymore. She lived alone in a small apartment near the old part of the city, windows facing a quiet street with lindens. She worked in a ceramic studio, not to earn, but to survive the silence. Her hands were lined, careful, practiced. Clay obeyed them. Clay never asked how old she was. He walked into the studio on a rainy October evening, tall, lean, slightly too serious for his age. A worn Nirvana t-shirt, jeans, tired sneakers. He signed up for a private lesson, for my girlfriend. She smiled politely. She'd seen dozens like him. They worked in silence for hours. He tried hard, failed often. The clay collapsed again. When a cup caved in completely, he cursed quietly. She laughed. It surprised her how easily it came. He looked up, not like a student, like a man noticing a woman. "You laugh beautifully," he said. She froze. No qualifiers, no jokes, just that. He came back, then again, each time with a reason that sounded practical enough. Another cup, a plate, a cracked vase. She noticed the way he watched her hands. Not hungry, focused, like he was trying to understand something. One evening, as she locked up, he stood in the doorway. "Can I walk you to your car? It's pouring." "I'm used to it." "I know, but I want to." She said yes before she could explain herself. Under one umbrella she noticed his scent, clean, young, unfamiliar. He held the umbrella higher so she wouldn't get wet. At the car he didn't move away. "When you touch Clay," he said, "your hands look like they remember things, like they know what it means to be needed." Heat rose in her chest. She said nothing. After that it was coffee, music, stories. He listened closely. She caught herself waiting for him. Then one evening he came without booking a lesson. "I can't keep coming here as a client," he said. "Then why are you here?" He took her hand and pressed it to his chest. His heart was racing. "Because I think about you all day, and I don't want to pretend this is about Clay." "You're 23, she said. "And you're 61, he answered. "So what?" No smile, no irony. "I don't want something forbidden for the thrill. I want something real, quiet, something that doesn't perform." She didn't answer. He touched her cheek, carefully, deliberately. "Your body isn't old," he said. "It's lived. That's not the same thing." She closed her eyes. The kiss was slow, not rushed, not stolen. She didn't think about the city, the neighbors, the comments that would come. She only felt him. The next morning she said, "This isn't what you think." He smiled. "It's exactly what I think." They didn't announce anything. They existed at night. Kitchens, rain, dim lights. Sometimes they talked until dawn. Sometimes he slept with his head in her lap. She began taking care of herself again. Not to look younger, but to feel present. People noticed. "He's young enough to be your son," a client said casually. "He's not my son," she replied, "and I'm not apologizing." That night, his hand rested on her stomach. Warm, certain. "You know what I like?" he whispered. "You don't try to be younger." She asked the question she'd been avoiding. "Aren't you afraid you'll want someone younger one day?" He traced her lip with his finger. "I want someone who knows how to stay." She believed him. Too quickly. Because there was something he hadn't told her. He told her on a quiet night, when the room was dark except for streetlight. "My parents know," he said. "They told me if I didn't end this, I wasn't their son anymore." She went still. "And you still came?" "I came because I chose you, and I'm not stopping." They didn't fight the world. They slipped between it. Evenings, rain, anonymous weekends by the sea where no one looked twice. When they returned, the world was waiting. "Everyone's talking," an old friend said. "Let them." Another woman at the studio said, "This won't last. Boys experiment." "Today he's here," she said. That's enough. One evening he brought a small box. Inside was a cup, uneven, cracked, fired carefully, his thumbprint on the bottom. "The first thing I made here," he said. "I kept it. I want you to use it every morning." She cried without sound. Then he said, "I want you to meet my best friend. I don't want to hide forever." The friend came, watched, listened. "I've never seen him like this," he said finally. "If he chose you, it wasn't by accident." That night, he said something else. "I've been saving money, not much, but steady. I want a place for us, something small, real." She asked, "You're serious?" "I am." The next morning his mother called. "You're embarrassing us," she said. He listened, then answered calmly, "I'm happy. I'm not stopping." When the call ended, he smiled. Sad, certain. Winter came early. Snow muted the city. Firelight. Shared blankets. "I don't feel like a boy anymore," he said one night. "With you, I feel like a man." She answered, "With you, I feel like a woman. Not for my age. Just a woman." He knelt, not dramatically. "I won't promise ease," he said, "but I choose you. Every day." She said yes. Outside, snow fell. And she knew. This wasn't a miracle. It was a choice. Marriage didn't quiet the world. It sharpened it. They didn't celebrate. No ceremony, no photos, no explanations. They signed papers on a weekday morning while the city was busy with other lives. Coffee afterward. The same cracked cup. Then back home. By evening, people already knew. Looks came first. Longer now. Less curious. More deliberate. In cafes, on buses, outside her studio. "So, congratulations," someone said, smiling carefully. "He'll change his mind," another added, almost kindly. She stopped explaining. He never started. The first real cost came quietly. 2 long-term clients stopped coming to the studio. No argument, no confrontation. Just silence. Orders that were never placed. Calls that never came back. "It's probably temporary," she said. He didn't answer. Then a gallery owner she'd worked with for years sent a short message. "We've decided to move in a different direction." No reason, no discussion. That night, she said it out loud. "I knew this would happen." He looked up from the sink. "I can quit my job," he said immediately. "We'll figure something out." She shook her head. "No, don't do that. Don't start sacrificing before I even ask." They didn't touch that night. Not out of anger, out of fear. The second cost was louder. His friends began drifting away. Invitations stopped coming. Group chats went quiet. One of them said it directly, drunk and careless. "It's just weird, man. We don't know how to act around you anymore." He laughed it off. Later, alone, he didn't. "You didn't ask for this," she said. "I did," he answered. "I just didn't know how much it would cost." They moved anyway. Not to a dream house, a half-finished building outside the city, roof that leaked, walls that needed work, half studio, half home. They fixed it slowly. That's where the third cost appeared. Time. He worked longer hours. She worked less. Her hands tired faster now. Her back ached after standing too long. She hated asking for help. One evening, carrying a box, she dropped it. Clay shattered across the floor. He rushed over, took the weight from her hands. "I can do it," she snapped. "I know," he said calmly, "but you don't have to prove it." She turned away. That night, she cried alone in the bathroom so he wouldn't hear. The fight came weeks later, about money, about pace, about his anger toward his parents, which never fully left, about her fear of becoming something he had to manage instead of choose. Then she said the thing she'd promised herself she never would. "You deserve someone easier." The room went quiet. He didn't raise his voice. "Don't decide my life for me," he said. "If I choose you, that's on me, not you." She cried afterward, not because he was harsh, because he was right. Spring softened the city. Judgment faded. Not from acceptance, but boredom. Scandal always moves on. One afternoon, a young woman came into the studio. Early 20s. Nervous, watching closely. "My mother says I'll regret my choices," the girl said. "She says love has rules." She didn't look up from the clay. "Love has consequences," she said. "Rules are what people invent when they're afraid." The girl nodded and left. That night, he smiled. "You make people uncomfortable," he said. "Good," she replied. His parents never came back. Once, months later, his mother sent a short message. "I hope you're well." He read it, put the phone down. She asked, "Do you want me to say something?" "No," he said. "This is my line, not yours." That was when she understood something important. Loving him didn't mean shielding him from pain. It meant trusting his strength. The fourth cost came unexpectedly. Her health faltered, not dramatically, enough to change the air in the room. Hospital corridors, waiting, the smell of disinfectant, the way he learned her medication schedule faster than she did. "I didn't sign up for this," she said once, half joking. He smiled tiredly. "I signed up for you. This came with it." She realized then that love wasn't proven in desire. It was proven in logistics. Who remembers appointments? Who knows which side you sleep on? Who stays calm when your body doesn't cooperate? Years passed, unevenly. She slowed. He deepened. They stopped apologizing for their pace. One night, sitting at the table, she asked, "If you could go back, knowing everything, would you still do this?" He didn't hesitate. "Yes." She nodded. "So would I." Outside, the city kept arguing. New scandals, new judgments, new people to dissect. Inside, there was only this: two people who chose each other long enough for the choice to become a life. Not easy, not clean, not admired, but deliberate. And that, she knew, was the price. Aging didn't arrive like a warning. It arrived like maintenance. A pill added to the morning routine, a chair pulled closer to the sink, a pause before standing up. They didn't talk about it much. Talking made it feel final. Instead, they adjusted. He began waking earlier. She began resting more. He carried things without asking. She stopped insisting she could do everything herself. Not because she couldn't, but because pretending cost more than accepting help. The world watched differently now. Not with outrage, with calculation. People stopped asking why. They started asking how long. In cafes, conversations paused when they entered. In the studio, customers hesitated before committing. Nothing explicit, nothing actionable, just enough friction to feel. One afternoon, a woman she'd known for years said quietly, "You know, people worry about him." She didn't answer, because there was no correct response to that sentence. The fifth cost arrived without drama. Opportunity. A position opened in another city. A serious one. Better pay. Clear trajectory. The kind of chance people build their 20s around. He didn't tell her right away. Not because he was hiding it, but because he was measuring the weight of the truth. When he finally did, they sat at the table, the cracked ceramic cup between them. "I was offered something," he said. "It's good. It would mean leaving." She nodded. Calm. Too calm. "For how long?" "Years. Maybe permanently." Silence. He waited for her to speak. She didn't. "I'm not asking you to come," he added. "And I'm not asking for permission. I just need you to know it exists." She stared at the cup, at the repaired crack. "I won't follow," she said finally. "And I won't ask you to stay." He looked at her sharply. "That's not fair." "No," she agreed. "But it's honest." That night, they slept back to back. Not angry, alert. For the first time in years, the future wasn't shared by default. The next weeks were heavy with restraint. He didn't mention the offer again. She didn't ask. The silence between them wasn't absence. It was negotiation without words. One evening he said, "Everyone assumes you'll tell me to go." She answered, Everyone assumes I should. And what do you assume? She met his eyes. I assume that if I tell you to stay, you'll resent me later. And if I tell you to go, I'll resent myself now. He exhaled slowly. So we're trapped? No, she said. We're choosing with open eyes. The decision came quietly. He declined the offer. Not dramatically, not proudly. One email, polite language. Afterward, he didn't celebrate. And she didn't thank him. That was the real cost. Months passed. He didn't become bitter. But something shifted. A sharpness dulled. A momentum slowed. He was still present, still loving, still here. But sometimes late at night she heard him awake. Not restless, thinking. One night she said it. You gave something up. He didn't deny it. Yes. You're allowed to be angry. I'm not, he said. I'm aware. There was a difference. The sixth cost was invisible. Time began to feel asymmetrical. She felt it closing in. He felt it stretching ahead. Neither said it aloud. One winter morning, standing in the studio doorway, she watched him clean clay from his hands. Hands that had grown steadier, stronger, more capable than when she'd met him. She realized something that made her chest tighten. He would outlive her. Not metaphorically. Statistically. That night she said, "One day, you'll be alone." He didn't answer immediately. Then, "One day everyone is." That's not the same. No, he agreed, but it's not a reason to leave early. She looked at him. You won't regret this? He paused. I will, he said honestly. Sometimes. And then I won't. That's what real choices do. She nodded. That was the answer she trusted. Years continued. Not smoothly. Not tragically. Just forward. The studio survived. Smaller now. Fewer clients. Enough. The city forgot them, which was its own kind of relief. One evening, sitting at the table, she asked the final question. If someone asked you what this cost you, what would you say? He thought. My parents, he said, some friends, an easier life. And was it worth it? He didn't answer right away. Then, I know exactly what I paid. That's why I don't feel cheated. She closed her eyes. Outside, the city debated other lives now, other scandals, other loves. Inside, there was no lesson, no moral. Just two people who stayed long enough to understand the price and paid it anyway. Not because it was romantic, not because it was brave, but because leaving would have cost more. And that was the only calculation that mattered.